Exciting things are happening in Mauritius, despite the fact that we've actually seen the hotel stocks that are listed in Mauritius coming under pressure because of low volumes coming through from the likes of Europe. We also know that South Africa is, of course, a very important holiday destination as well for the likes of Mauritius and vice versa. What is important to note that the integrated resort scheme is starting to change things dramatically when it comes to opportunities in Mauritius. Take us through some of those opportunities.
Well, Eleni, pleasure to be on the show, and thanks for having me. Certainly the market in Mauritius had traditionally been very Western focused, and gradually the market's now turning its head to maintain a presence in the Western hemisphere, but also look towards the East. So for the IRS programs, and specifically Azuri, the project that we run, we've been working very hard to develop a market in Africa and Europe, but also to bring in new market from Asia.
Yeah. The IRS, as you alluded to, I mean, what is interesting about this is that it offers the potential buyers to become a Mauritian resident. Is this starting to actually gain traction where you see investors coming in and really being interested in the real estate and the property sector within Mauritius?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the market had been very quiet for certainly 2008 through 2011, but for property and for overseas investment into Mauritius, we're seeing very strong traction now. I think the market is very value focused, and specifically with our project where we're selling IRS residences which grant residency rights in Mauritius from 4 million rand to around 6.5 million rand, there appears to be a strong market. And certainly Azuri is the fastest selling property development in Mauritius. We've turned over about 160 units, about 50 million of stock dollars in the last 4 months.
So Murray, I mean, it sounds like a really good deal because, I mean, the minimum investment is 4 million rand. You also get to be a Mauritian resident. Of course, there's a very fine balance with ensuring that you do open up your doors and borders for foreign investment. But of course, you also need to ensure that the locals benefit extensively from this influx of foreigners. How does one strike the balance?
Well, certainly, and again at our project at Azuri, it's the first village, and it's a village we're creating, a new community. It's the first place in Mauritius where both foreigners and locals can buy in the same community. And the benefits to Mauritius are multiple, but one of the key ones that we're bringing through Azuri is the development of a new elite school. This is a school for 950 children, and it's one of the things as a property developer you have to look to nowadays. You can't just do golf courses, you just can't do marinas all the time. You have to look at new and innovative ways to create developments and create viable developments. And we certainly think at Azuri we've got a very successful project on our hands.
I mean, with regards to the actual regulation that is on the ground, it seems that it's very lax. Would you say that it is very relaxed?
No, certainly having to work in the environment every day, I don't think the regulation's terribly relaxed.
Well, tell us about some of the challenges then that you experience.
Well, challenges I think in Mauritius are the fact that it is 4 hours from Africa, and we do have to work very hard to build market demand. It is 12 hours from Europe, and again, that's a specific, very niche market you have to work to. So the challenges, I think, are market size in Mauritius. But you do have a paradise island, you have a very friendly population, you've got great taxation benefits for people who come to Mauritius. So for us at IREC as a company, the challenges really are about making sure that we get the message out to the public and the investors that Mauritius is a great place to invest.
Well, Murray, I mean, one of the other issues when you see other emerging markets which have opened their doors and their coastlines in particular to ensuring that there is foreign direct investment in this regard, it seems that a lot of destruction has occurred not only from an environmental perspective, but now irreversible issues have also come to the fore. How is Mauritius protecting itself from these issues?
Well, Mauritius has developed and maintains a strong planning regime, and I think the planning and the regulation of development is key. And as a developer, I'm a great fan of good barriers to entry. I think it's important that the country maintains its unique natural assets, and as such the planning constraints are very good. For example, you have to build a certain distance back from the shoreline. You can only build to 2 maximum of 3 stories within another distance of the shoreline. So they are working very hard to maintain the actual shape and feel of Mauritius. When you look at some of the places in Europe which have just been gutted over the last 20, 30 years by development, for example, the Costas in Spain, which fundamentally look like the Festival of Concrete now, it's gone a long way and it can never come back. So Mauritius is doing all it can to maintain its unique, beautiful shoreline.
Would you say that this is the right time to actually embark on development, especially for investors, and perhaps just looking at the prospects for the country itself and how it can capitalize as much as it possibly can on its coastlines? We're still sitting in a very depressed market. Perhaps people are kind of risk averse when it comes to such developments. Or do you think that right now it is good to diversify into areas such as property?
I think property's always got a good potential. The danger with property is investing in a bubble market, but certainly in Mauritius just now it's been through a 3-year lull. The prices are very manageable, and certainly our pricing in the 4 million rand and up is literally as cheap as you can buy an IRS by law. So we're selling at the price where we think the market is, and we do an awful lot of research, Eleni, into how the market works and who's also in the market with us. And we found this beautiful gap between the 4 million to 8 million rand market where no one else
Murray,
is
if I could just interject there.
It's key to us to give people.
Could you give us an indication of price inflation, property inflation? What kind of a scenario are you foreseeing or penciling in?
CPI is running at 5.2% just now in Mauritius. Property, I think, will grow in lines with that as a minimum. For example, the per square metre, if you want to look at that on our project at Azuri, is about 40% currently below the other IRS projects. So we think there's a very good uplift for investors there. Of course, don't have a crystal ball, but I think Mauritius is growing as an economy. It's growing in its level of significance in the region. It's a big program to encourage corporates to headquarters there. Fantastic. So I think all the factors are there to develop a strong property market with good growth potential.
Fantastic. Murray, we have to leave it there. Great to have you on the program, sir.